Hello and welcome once again to the News Unlock, the show that takes you beyond the headlines to the real stories that matter, the stories that need to be focused on in the times in which we live, the turbulent times we live in. And one of those sections of society that needs a voice is the students of this country, especially those who are preparing for their IIT-JEE exams, the medical NEET exams, and indeed college admissions across the country. Many students across the country are in a limbo today. Why? Because entrance exams and the entrance processes are stuck. Not just that, the NEET exam, the JEE exam, and indeed final exams of various semesters are pending. The entire academic calendar of lakhs of students in this country is in disarray. These students have even approached the courts for justice. Some of them, 11 petitioners, took their case to the Supreme Court to delay the JEE main and NEET examinations. The Supreme Court on Monday dismissed the plea for the postponement of exams, saying life has to go on. Before we go ahead on the show, let me tell you that today we want to focus on a group of people who really need support. Thousands of students have been writing in to us to tell us that they need their examinations deferred. But what did the Supreme Court have to say at a time when COVID cases in the country are increasing? Why are students feeling that they need to step up their campaign through letters, through social media and court cases to postpone examinations? Let's take a look at first this special report on the JEE and NEET aspirants. Why are they so worried about doing exams in COVID times?
The coronavirus pandemic has disrupted businesses, economy, and has also disrupted the academic calendar like never before. Educational institutions are shut and several exams have been postponed. But not anymore. On 17th August, the Supreme Court of India dismissed a plea seeking the postponement of JEE main and NEET 2020 entrance examinations scheduled to be held in September, leaving lakhs of students over the country anxious. Dismissing a petition by 11 students from 11 states to defer the exams, the Supreme Court said the careers of students cannot be put under jeopardy.
We are not happy or satisfied with the decision of Supreme Court that the student from Bihar हम लोगों को यहाँ पे flood का सामना करना पड़ रहा है, जिसके कारण flood के कारण रोड भी बहुत सारे टूट गए हैं.
And the government wishes to send us, the students, to give exams in such a horrendous situation. I feel this is a breach to my fundamental right to live. Must be postponed to a time when the cases reduce, normalcy is restored, and the environment is conducive.
The students and their kin want the competitive exams to be postponed further, citing reasons like mounting caseload, unavailability of transportation facilities, poor implementation of SOPs on the ground level, and unfair treatment to those who are COVID positive.
Karnataka KSET, Kerala KEM exam, and recently the UP B.Ed exam, and we've seen that SOPs have failed since they're not able to control the parents outside. There's a lot of crowd over there, and not many people can afford the hospital bills. Many people don't come from a rich background. They don't have a proper transport system to get to the center.
मेरे घर के बगल में कोरोना पॉजिटिव पेशेंट है और जहाँ से ट्रांसपोर्टेशन है वो भी पूरा ऑफ है. मेरे यहाँ से लखनऊ 200 किलोमीटर दूर है. बताइए मैं पेपर कैसे देने जाऊँ? ना ट्रांसपोर्ट चल रहा है, ना ट्रेन चल रहा है, ना बस चल रहा है, ना गाड़ी चल रही है, कुछ नहीं चल रहा है.
Does this SOP guarantee that every student out of the 25 lakh is safe? Because if it doesn't, it does violate the right to life. Think about the mental pressure on a person who has been diagnosed with COVID-19. If you are talking about mental pressure of this exam determines their future too. How will they in this state write an exam for 3 hours, travel to the center? It'll take a huge toll and stress on the system.
After being postponed twice, JEE main held as engineering entrance as well as a screening test for JEE advanced IIT entrance will now be conducted between 1st to 6th of September 2020. And NEET, which is held for admissions to undergraduate courses in medical and allied subjects, earlier planned for May, is scheduled for 13th September now. Meanwhile, as part of the instructions issued by the National Testing Agency, which conducts these exams, it is mandatory for students to sign a COVID undertaking, a self-declaration form along with a photograph saying they have not tested positive for COVID-19 and have not had any symptoms like fever, dry cough or difficulty in breathing in recent days.
And joining me now are a few special guests on that big question. Is it time to declare 2020 as a zero exam year? Should these examinations even now be postponed despite what the Supreme Court has said? V. Ram Gopal Rao is Director IIT Delhi. Thank you so much for joining us, sir. Professor Rupa Manjari Ghosh is Director School of Natural Sciences and Vice Chancellor of the Shiv Nadar Private University. And I'm joined by two students who are protesting against college examinations. Dhruv and Zamia are joining me from Bangalore. But I want to come to first something I've just received on Twitter. Pushpendra Verma, sir, has sent a tweet. A student committed suicide after listening to the decision of the court. She demanded for postponement of exams. The last of hers are in this photo below. She has written a letter. Mummy, आपसे मुझे बहुत प्यार करती हूँ, ऐसा नहीं करना चाहती थी, माफ कर देना मम्मी, माफ कर देना, मेरी मौत के लिए सुप्रीम कोर्ट जिम्मेदार है, साथ में एजुकेशन मिनिस्ट्री और हेल्थ मिनिस्ट्री भी, मम्मी मैं ना रहा हूँ, माँ I love you, अलविदा. This is what I have received. I want to ask you, Professor Rao, how do you respond to all these students? And we're getting hundreds of mails from them who are very worried in COVID times to travel for offline exams and worried even about online exams. What would you tell them, sir?
It's not that we are not worried or we don't care or even the NTA doesn't care or the JEE Advanced, which IIT Delhi will be conducting, or it's not that we don't care about it. But there are issues. In fact, the COVID is going to be there for some more time to come. We have already lost one semester. And one of the things, at least, which we are exploring right now is by taking some precautions, can we go ahead with the exam? It's just a proposal at this stage. We need to still see, until January, until September, what will really happen and how we can really conduct the exam. Right. So, for example, IIT Delhi conducts the JEE Advanced exam, which comes after the JEE Mains. JEE Mains is conducted by NTA, the National Testing Agency. So JEE Advanced is end of September. So we are keenly watching how things are developing. And if there is any kind of a worry that we will not be able to conduct the exam, or if there is another spike during the time, I think all these issues will be taken into account.
Sir, I'll give you practical issues that many of these students are sending. Some of them are from Bihar. They are saying Bihar is completely flooded out. How will I in COVID times, with floods on one side, COVID cases rising, travel hundreds of kilometers to go reach a center, an examination center? Do you believe that this issue should be reviewed? Is there a need to review it? I know the examinations are scheduled for September. Is there a need to even review it even now?
I think closer to the dates that review will be undertaken. I don't think anybody is going to be so inhuman, even in NTA or in the IIT system, to conduct an exam if there are all these issues. I think we need to trust the system. We need to trust the people. For example, the JEE Advanced exam, which IIT Delhi will be organizing this year.
Yes.
The kind of precautions we have taken, there are at least 10 things we are doing now, which we wouldn't have done during a normal time. We have doubled the number of centers. We are leaving one seat free, between two students, and we are also, for example, looking at providing. We even have isolation rooms in the examination centers, and we have something like 1,300 centers this time as 600 what it used to be. And we are also trying to give students the centers which are very close to their homes. And in fact, 95% of students, in some states it will come up to 99% of these students will get a center which is their first choice. They will all be giving 8 choices, but we are trying that 99% of students will get the center which is the first choice, which is closest to their home. And sanitizers and masks, all of this.
So you say you are putting in place a protocol. That's reassuring. I want to read out another mail I've just received. Sir, my name is Hemang Kumawat. I'm a NEET aspirant. I live in Jaipur. NEET has been postponed twice for our safety, but still daily corona cases are rising rapidly. NEET is a very big exam. More than 16 lakh students will appear for it, and at every center, approximately 400 students will give the exam. In a sense, number of students are worried about just the scale of these big exams. Professor Rupa Manjari Ghosh, you are director of a private university. Do you believe that this needs to be re-looked at? Before I go to the students, let's hear from you.
Yes, actually, one thing for sure that students' health and security cannot be compromised. But as you yourself pointed out, these are really unusual times with marked by uncertainties. We do not know when the uncertainties would be lifted, and every institution is doing its best to navigate the challenges. We have found our own way, and I would like to maybe put that thought to everybody who is listening. What is at stake is our system's dependence on robust standardized tests like, well, first it was the board exam, now JEE and these kind. So I think we should probably try to find alternate ways, because this risk, and I understand the scale of it, it's really, really frightening. So in our case, for example, agility has been the key to be able to plan and face the challenges optimistically. So as I said, if the critical dependence, which we also had on one particular robust standardized test, if I had to take that away in this situation, we decided that, when there is a will, there is a way, that in early May this year, we announced that we'll have our own online test using an AI mechanism that is secure and ensures anti-cheating surveillance, etc., etc. So we have managed to do that. We have taken just the JEE main scores, and then have done online interviews. So from the comfort of their houses, students can actually face the admission test. And
so you've created an online system.
These are really unusual circumstances.
You've created an online ecosystem that you hope is foolproof. I want to just for a moment stop you to go to the student. Dhruv and Zamia, I know students in Bengaluru are protesting, students in Delhi protested, but the Delhi University is going ahead with the exams. I want to understand, Dhruv and Zamia, the Supreme Court says life must go on. According to Justice Arun Mishra, when he dismissed the petition, he said, look, examinations must take place. Both of you respond. Why don't you respond first, Zamia, and then Dhruv?
Yes, sir. Firstly, thank you for the opportunity to speak. I'd like to say that, for example, like in our state, what happened is most of the students have already written their online exams, right? And the students who haven't written their offline exams, their lives are literally on hold right now. Is putting the lives of students and putting them in a state of anxiety, is that really what we need to be doing during a pandemic when they already have so much going on?
No, so what do you want? You don't want any exams at all, or you want the exams postponed?
So what we're asking for is a decision, a clear decision, because as of right now, everything seems so uncertain. Even though they are saying that exams are going to be conducted, it's saying that, in case there's a, spike in cases, so-and-so is going to be done. What we want is clarity right now.
Okay, you want clarity. What about you, Dhruv? What is it that you all want? Why are you all so upset about the fact that exams are going to take place shortly?
See, so let me begin with first thanking you for allowing us to give an opportunity on your show. Firstly, the UGC and the MHRD has outright played with the lives of the students. How do you expect students to travel, quarantine themselves, write an exam, go back to their hometowns, hoping that they don't infect their elderly at their home, and then quarantine again? A DU report in Hindustan Times stated that 1 out of 4 students were unable to write the online examinations. When the Brazilian government, when Brazil is right above India in the COVID chart, when the Brazilian government decided to hold an online poll for students to decide on the examination dates, why didn't the Indian government do it? Are they scared to know about how much internet access is available to the whole nation? So something that, we all must understand at the same time is that a lot of students, like you mentioned, are stuck in zones that are affected by natural calamity. In Karnataka as well, the floods have struck.
But that happens every year, Dhruv.
Problems.
Natural calamities happen every year. Can you postpone examinations because of a natural calamity like a flood?
So a natural calamity and a pandemic at the same time is very unique in nature. We must understand that as well. And if the examinations had to take place, in all honesty, they should have taken place earlier, not now. The cases now are rising to a very, very large extent. So a few things that I also want to point out, which are very important, is that the issue right now is becoming more political than normal. 32 students in Karnataka tested positive. Did these students have the access to private medical institutions like the other politicians did in our state? So something that also is important is that, when the Karnataka government decided to conduct KCET, KSLU, we also must understand that these examinations come with a lot of motive behind. This is something nobody will tell you. Because these examinations bring a lot of bribes, admissions, and when students fail, reevaluation money.
No, those are issues. Those are annual issues. Let's look at those specifics in this year. I want to come to you again, Professor Rao, because whether it's CLAT. I've just got a mail from someone. Ari Barwa says this is reference to CLAT 2020 entrance exam scheduled for 7th September. Please help postpone the exams. My state of Assam is facing floods, twin challenges of floods and COVID. It's difficult for me to travel in these circumstances. The question is the human angle, sir. I appreciate what the Supreme Court says. Life must continue. But life in a pandemic, sir, is very different. Are the IITs, the various medical institutes conscious of this? Can you give any assurances that the examinations will be conducted in a completely safe, foolproof manner, sir?
I think, when it comes to JEE Advanced, which is what I can report, because we are the organizing institute, we have made all the preparations. And I think we will be able to conduct it. And
how many students appear, sir, for that?
JEE Advanced comes after JEE Mains. JEE Advanced is usually taken by about 2 lakh students.
So you're telling me all these 2 lakh students will be in a safe bubble doing the exams?
Yeah, we have made all the preparations. I am pretty confident that JEE Advanced exam can be conducted. But JEE Advanced, since it comes after JEE Mains, the problem for NTA to conduct the JEE Mains, if they are able to do the JEE Mains successfully, I don't see any issues with conducting the JEE Advanced subsequently.
Professor Ghosh, Vice Chancellor at Shiv Nadar, do you believe smaller private universities are better placed than these large examinations that have to be conducted on scale? 25, 30 lakh students who will appear for NEET or appear for JEE. Do you believe that to that extent private universities are slightly better off?
Yeah, I suppose so. And I think also because of our size, we have been quite agile. Particularly, I can talk about my university. We are one of the first to switch to online classes in early March. And, we have been also very pragmatic. We can't solve the country's large-scale problem. Those who were already in the campus, I did not ask them to go out because the campus is shut. Those who were outside because it was the holy break, the spring break, we asked them to stay where they are when they're safe. People who are facing connectivity issue, this is again a India-based problem. We can't really solve it, but in whichever extent, because we are run by a philanthropic trust, we are helping those people finding connectivity and to stay engaged. There is a point that I think you also touched upon very slanted way, that it's important for us to, that's the single objective maybe that I had, is ensuring continuity of teaching, learning, and engagement of our students.
No, sure. I take your point, but at the end of the day, you are a much smaller university than those who have to go through JEE, NEET, who have to go through these highly competitive exams. I just want to give another one. Rahul Desai is sending me a mail now. My name is Rahul from Karnataka. I'm a final semester law student. This semester, we could hardly attend a month's class. Online classes were not useful due to restriction on data bandwidth. Many of my friends are from BPL family who cannot afford to also have costly law textbooks. They depend on the library, which is inaccessible. We have floods and the pandemic is scary for us. I just want to understand from my 2 students again who've joined us here, Dhruv and Zamia. Zamia, what is scaring you more? Corona? Is it the fear of safety? Is it health concerns that is scaring you? What is it that is scaring you all?
So to be completely honest with you, it's a little bit of everything. So I personally know one of my friends who's out of state right now. She wrote her online exams without having any access to study material, without having internet access, and she had to spend the money to buy a laptop because the software that her college asked her to download wasn't compatible with hers. right? So there are multiple, burdens that are being put on students right now. And the last thing we need to do is put financial burden on these students. Like I said, she was asked to buy a new laptop. So there are multiple things right now, sir. There's not just one thing.
Dhruv, you agree? Is this the scare of corona, which is what is troubling you, or just the overall ecosystem, the fact that classes being conducted online, the digital divide, BPL family students not in a position perhaps to have the same facilities as others, that this is not, what is it that is scaring all of you, which is why you want the exams deferred?
So I would say this is a mix of both, corona as well as the environment. Because we saw, like I saw myself in Karnataka, about how the SOP was made and how students were gathered in, flocks outside the examination halls. They promised social distancing, they promised specific sanitization and few other things which weren't done. Let's understand it. It's a matter of fact that it's not easy to handle a large number of students, in a public space. And when there are reports that the disease is being airborne, then that's something that the government should take into consideration. There are as well ulterior motives that I stated earlier. And so something in conclusion that I want to say, which I think is on behalf of a lot of students, is that 2024 is not too far, and no student is going to forget about this big blunder that's taking place.
But there will be those who will say, Dhruv, why do you want to lose a year? If the exams get postponed, it's you who will suffer. Today, if the JEE exams were postponed or NEET was postponed, it's you students who suffer. You lose the year.
So I understand what you're trying to say. But if you see the large majority number of students that have come out to express their dissent against the examinations is very high. And I strongly suggest that the government takes a poll of students to get the exact numbers, because it's been months together and there's no communication made to students, no questions made to students. They ask, the universities to make decisions on behalf of students. But come on, it's us students who are risking our lives coming to give the examinations. Ask us.
Okay, that's a good point. Ask the students. Has anybody asked the students whether this should be a no exam year? V. Ram Gopal Rao, final word as director, IIT Delhi, one of the country's most distinguished institutes. What would you tell those students today who are continuously writing to me even as the program is going on? Sir, please help us in postponing the JEE main exams in particular.
I think, we are all concerned. It's not that we are not concerned. As far as JEE Advanced is concerned, we have taken all the preparation. In the current conditions, we will be able to conduct the JEE Advanced exam, with all the safety kind of things. At the end of the day, self-discipline is the key. I think we can do all of that once students reach the premises of these examination centers. But if students don't follow the social distancing norms, if students are not wearing the mask, not using the sanitizer, nobody can do anything. I think the lockdowns are there to prepare ourselves, for this calamity.
How would you respond, sir, to someone who has just a professor who has told me better to start academic session 2021 for new admissions from January 21? Hope situation is controlled by then. What would you tell them?
That's exactly what is going to happen. If we are conducting the exam in September, the next session is going to start in sometime in December.
Okay.
So that is what we're all planning. We have already lost a semester. If we lose one more semester now, then almost 1 year will be gone. I think next year we cannot have two batches of students coming at the same time, and it is not possible. So we won't be able to handle, two batches of students in first year at the same time. So one batch will need to be, will need to forego the IIT admission. So we have to take a call now, and we are also concerned. We are taking all the precautions.
You're taking all the precautions. The students, though, remain worried. Remember, of course, as I said, particularly those who are doing the mass scale exams, the medical exams, and the engineering exam. This program was for all of you. You have written in, and we have promised you that we will give you a voice, and we will continue to raise this issue of the manner in which these mass examinations need to be conducted. Thank you all very much for joining us. The point I want to leave with, the students deserve to be heard. They too are citizens of the country. If they can vote at 18, they have a voice to express their concern over examinations in COVID times. Think about it. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.